Hi guys, welcome to Midnight Club Chats. I'm trying again because I was all crackly before. It's like a ghost got into the system. So I'm hoping that I'm not crackly this time. Fingers crossed. But we're going to be talking about Midnight Club. I'll just add everyone in again. Let me know in the comments if I sound all crackly like an old witch. And we'll go from there. Let me know if it sounds any better. Right, let me just add everyone in. Hopefully I'm not crackly. Fingers crossed. That's better. Yeah! Right. Let's get everyone added in. Ta-da!
Hello.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're back.
Ooh.
Apparently not crackly this time.
Hooray.
Hey! Yeah! Yay! It seems to be working. Right, I'm missing Emma. 1 second. There we go. Fingers crossed. That means I've got to do my chant again now. No.
It's all right, I've got my first time.
Right, apparently it's a bit better this time, so I'll go without the headphones and yay! I don't know whether it's a good thing people can hear my brumminess, but never mind. So I'll start again. So tonight we've got the spooky Josh, and we've got the spooky Nerissa, and the spooky Emma.
I didn't mean to clap myself. I thought you were going Emma first. Sorry.
You can clap yourself, that's cool.
But you can always clap yourself, why not? Everyone's saying so we're going to raise our cup and do our little chant. So to those before, to those after, to us now, and to those beyond, seen or unseen, here but not here. And we're going to chat all wherever. And we're going to chat all things the Midnight Club episodes 1 to 3. Just to point out there will be spoilers for those episodes and probably for the book as well. So yeah, I am running a little giveaway for, I've got 5 copies of these thanks to the publishers giving away 5 copies. So everyone joining in the chat will be entered into that as well, as long as you're UK and Ireland. I'm so sorry, but I will do an international one soon, hopefully. But yeah, so the Midnight Club hit Netflix on Friday, and as I mentioned before, we're going to be chatting all things episodes 1 to 3 and Christopher Pike and 4. It's just like books going round. So yes.
Josh!
Stop.
Scary. Oh god, it's like you do the eyes like.
I'm just channeling Christopher Pike.
No, you really are. I'm very impressed.
Very good.
So yeah, so basically the Midnight Club at a manor with a mysterious history. 8 members of the Midnight Club meet each other at midnight to tell sinister stories and to look for signs of the supernatural from beyond. So obviously it's based on the Christopher Pike novel. Oh, Christopher Pike.
Great.
I know. So obviously we don't know who Christopher Pike is. Christopher Pike wrote dozens of YA thrillers and horror stories during the 80s and 90s, and his work serves the basis of Mike Flanagan's The Midnight Club, which has 10 episodes altogether. So over the next 3 weeks, well, the next 2 weeks or whatever, we're going to be chatting about them all. So yeah, so created for screen by Mike Flanagan and Leah Fong, I believe. And reviews have said that it is Are You Afraid of the Dark vibes, but Flanagan. And I quite liked that.
Ooh. Love that.
Pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you all fans of Mike Flanagan, or have you got a favourite of his work? Nerissa? Okay.
I love his stuff. Oh my god, I don't know if I could pick a favourite because
You have to.
I discovered this stuff about 6 years ago, and I've seen it all, like even the short film that ended up becoming Oculus. I favorite, I don't know. Oh God, I don't know. That's too hard. I love it so much. He's so perfect to my taste and what I love about horror, and making it, understanding that it's about character and understanding what it is that makes horror great, and not just like, oh, it's like cheap scares and so, like he really gets it, and it's so perfect to my taste. I really don't think I could pick a favourite. Oculus scared me the most.
I haven't
but
seen
I
that.
don't. You won't be able to handle it. I said this earlier. But no, I. Oh God, no! I couldn't pick a favourite.
Yeah. So Nerissa is a huge fan. What about you, Josh? Are you a fan?
Yeah, I completely agree with Nerissa. I think he's brought like real class to horror on the screen. I think he's clearly like a huge Stephen King fan. Everything that he does has a kind of a Shining vibe to it, and of course he did go on to adapt Doctor Sleep for the screen.
He did such a great job with
he obviously loves houses, which I can relate to. I love a creepy house. And you know, that's the through line, I think, through pretty much all of his stuff, is that sort of obsession with not even particularly spooky looking houses. Often it's like quite ordinary houses sometimes, or like houses that look just slightly weird, and sort of delving into the stories of those houses and just scaring the crap out of you. Like Haunting of Hill House for me was really terrifying, and I've seen a lot of horror, so
terrifying and heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like this perfect alchemy of like sort of, you know, ghoulish horror and then emotional horror as well,
which I think made him perfect for Pike. And I think if you've watched his stuff, I think particularly, I mean, I know I shared a clip with April, 80s 90s book art of Midnight Mass. I think you can really see that Pike was a big influence on him. That's
amazing, really, that now he's managed to, you know, adapt like something that was obviously clearly maybe like a favourite of his, definitely. How about you, Emma? Have you watched other Mike Flanagan things? Ooh, have we lost Emma? Are you there, Emma?
No, I've lost you.
Oh no.
I thought Emma was pretending to be a ghost.
No. I can hear you. Oh, you went a bit funny there, Shelley. So I was like, is it me?
I just said, have you seen any of Mike Flanagan's work, or is this first time?
No, I've seen Midnight Mass, and I loved that. Oh my God, what a great twist on a vampire story. Wow, I was absolutely enthralled with that. So good. But I did try to watch The Haunting of Hill House, is that right? And I was enjoying it, but my husband absolutely terrified and made me turn it off. Oh. He said it is frightening beyond belief. I can't watch this with you, Emma. You're going to have to watch it when you're on your own. And I thought, I'm not watching it on my own. It's too scary. So I still need to watch it. So maybe I'll have to like buddy watch it with someone or something, because I can't do it on my own. But yeah,
you're going to do a buddy watch, so we'll do it. We can do it together. Yes. I made the mistake of like one night I couldn't sleep, and I was like, oh, I'll rewatch that, and then it was like, oh no, in the middle of the night,
really
alone. This was a mistake.
Oh,
yeah.
I think for me, I just saw Dustin a rewatch recap. He just put that it's the first time he's watched any Flanagan, and that's the same for me. I've never watched anything.
Not Midnight Mass.
No, I've not seen anything. And I was talking to Nerissa earlier, and I said I think it's because like I've just got this theory in my head that it's all jump scares and it's going to terrify me. And like,
it is terrifying.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of jump scares. In horror.
As I said, that's something that he does, but not.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it a lot. He relies on, like I said, the humanity and what truly is scary.
Yeah.
Shelley, is that why you said to me, Was there any jump scares in the book? I don't remember. There wasn't. So you weren't expecting it?
No, that first episode. Oh dear.
That's hilarious.
Chicks just put on really quiet. I don't know what's going on tonight, but I'm hoping everyone can hear me okay. I'll try and talk a bit loud.
Yeah, shout.
Maybe if you could turn your volume up a bit, it might help. I don't know.
It's right up to the max. So
you have a megaphone, Shelley.
I'll try and talk a little bit louder and project. But yeah, Valina's put she'd love to buddy watch too. And April's put, yeah, the clip is great, horror with heart. It's a clip that Nerissa mentioned. Yeah, so I've never watched any Flanagan, so it was really interesting to watch this and see, you know, what it's all about. So we've all kind of read the Midnight Club book. So just briefly then, what were your thoughts on the book when you read it? Josh? I know we buddy read it.
Yeah, we buddy read it. I'm really glad that we did, because you're really fun for like looking for theories and like what's going to happen. And like I think your theories were actually probably better than what actually ended up happening in the book. The book is, I love the setup. I think the first couple of chapters are absolutely heartbreaking and really effective. I think some of the stories are really fun. Some of the stories are a bit like, yeah, come on. And then the ending, I think, is the real Marmite sort of moment where you're either on board with it or you're not. And I kind of was. Like, I could see what Christopher Pike was going for. I think from what I've read previously about him, he has been interested in, is it true to say, Buddhism and sort of spirituality, and sort of you can see that in his writing.
Reincarnation.
So this book feels like sort of a distillation of that in some ways. And yeah, so you know, I enjoyed a lot of it, and some of it I was a bit like, this is quite dated now, maybe. But yeah, it was an enjoyable read, definitely.
Yeah. How about you, Emma? You've just read it recently, haven't you?
Yeah. I've actually, this is only the second thing I've read of Pike. I think I've probably read some point horror. Obviously, 13 Tales I've read before, but this is my first real. But it is like short stories disguised as a novel, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I see what you did there.
It's like a
but I'm with
of a TV show.
Exactly. And I really liked it. I thought it was great. I enjoyed reading it, but I do think what Josh says is right about some things being dated. And I think for me, with the Marmite ending you're talking about, I like the ending, but I didn't like what they did with Spence. I think they did Spence dirty in that ending.
In the book.
Personally. Yeah, in the book. And I'm really intrigued to know what they're going to do, because I love Spence. I'm really intrigued to know what they're going to do with him at the end of this. I'm just can't wait to, but I'm pacing myself. I'm just doing 3. Yeah. I've watched it all. Oh, you've watched it all. Oh no, I'm only doing 3 at a time.
To be really careful.
I waited 25 years for one adaptation. I get 7 in 1 from my favourite filmmaker. I'm not restraining myself. I'm watching it.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So, Nerissa, when you first read the book, what were your thoughts? Was it always a firm favourite with you?
I only actually read it for the first time earlier this year. There were things I really liked about it, and it very much, if you've read other Pike stuff, you know that existentialism and spiritualism, that's a lot, that those themes come up a lot in several of his works. Some of the stories, basically Spencer's stories, were messed up and like very pulpy, didn't stand the test of time. But I do remember that Jack from Jack Reacts, he texted me, and I had to text and say, sorry for the late reply. I was wrapped up reading The Midnight Club and then recovering from reading The Midnight Club, because the end, it tore my heart out a little bit. Yeah.
I think my view's a little bit the same as Josh's, whereby It's a weird one. Like, I wasn't sure what. I think we both got to the end of the book when we buddy read it, and we was like, well, I'm not sure. And like, but that being said, I still think about it. Like, it plays on your mind a lot, and so it's really.
I'm not.
Sorry. No, it's all right. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's the best one for like a first Pike read.
Yeah.
I think it's more one once you've read a few of his things and you're more familiar with the themes he explores. But Emma, have you read any of the novels or just short stories?
No, only short stories. So this was my first novel. But because it's a bunch of short stories, I feel like I haven't read a novel since.
Well,
I'm going to have to do that.
I will say those sort of themes, Remember Me and The Lost Mind, are really good.
Oh, yeah.
Really good one.
Oh, look.
Josh, that's a cool cover.
Josh. You're desperate for that cover. It's
That's really nice.
It's the US one, right?
Everybody jump Josh later.
Come and get it.
Okay, I tried to bribe you for it and I didn't get it.
Sorry.
Nice try.
A fight over Instagram. Anyways, but first time watching Flanagan too. Love him so far. Definitely not getting any cheap scares. Yeah, definitely. And characterization is absolutely chef's kiss. So Speedway Chicks put, I love the use of Pike's other books in the Midnight Club TV series. 100%. We definitely will chat about that just coming up shortly. And Dustin's put, I wish Mike Flanagan had tackled Fear Street. Maybe it would have been better.
Oh, controversial.
I almost agree, because like I was so excited and I had such a good time watching them, but I don't know if I'd watch them again.
Yeah, me and Josh have watched them so many times.
Oh my god, I watched them 3 times in the space of about 3 months.
I think it is that, like, obviously.
Anyway, Stein's had his turn. It's Pike's turn.
Pike's turn. I was saying to Nerissa,
Stein's had plenty.
I think sometimes when you're so excited for something and like it's your favourite thing, and then you just want it to be absolutely like you want it to be, it's really, really hard, isn't it? And to like live up to people's expectations. Dustin's put, I think Emma would definitely like Remember Me. So
you would. You would love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's my pen?
I think the first one I read, and it still sticks with me. It's such a good one.
Yeah. Ooh, is that a little troll on the end of the pen?
Yeah.
I love it. So 90s.
So 90s, Emma. Oh.
Or is that left over from the 90s?
It's not original, unlike my 80s earrings. It's I think I got it off Amazon or something. But my girl's got one out of, like, you know those gumball type machines that have those little toys in?
Yeah.
And you put the money in and twist it? Yeah. And they got one out and it was a little troll, and then they brought it into the bookshop while I was at work, and I went, here you go, Mum, we thought you'd like that. This is now my whole personality.
Like to say, Emma.
Sorry, Dustin, what was it? Remember Me? I was getting that.
Remember Me. The Lost Mind, I think you'll like as well.
The Lost Mind. I have written this down.
I'll message you about it.
Thank you.
Karen's put, I think I must have read The Midnight Club when I was a kid, as I remember the storyline of the split girl as soon as it started.
Oh, yes.
Growing up. So let's jump into the episodes then. So we'll talk about episode 1. So the final chapter is what the episode's called. So brief summary is when Cancer cancels her plans for college, star student Alonka finds a sliver of hope at Brightcliffe, a mysterious hospice for terminally ill kids. So the series kind of opens with quite a backstory and looks at like Alonka's future plans and deals with her illness.
Oh,
and
you there? You all went. You all disappeared. was on my own for a minute there.
We're here.
Oh, someone's definitely messing with this chat. I'm so scared.
Gremlins.
Everything went black. Sorry, Shelley, you were saying?
You're giving me jump scares. That's what you're so the opening packed an emotional punch kind of thing. So what were your thoughts on the opening? Because it was a lot different to the book. What do you think, Josh?
I thought it was great. It was so involving and so emotional. And basically the scene that just meant I was there for the ride was when she's talking to Heather Langenkamp and she's being admitted into the hospice. And she gives that fantastic speech about the dialogue and the terms that we use around grief and dying. And it was just so fantastic. And I think that's the kind of emotional horror that Nerissa was referring to, that you expect from Mike Flanagan is, yeah, you want horror, but you also want the actual emotions that are going on. And it was such a fresh, unique way of discussing death, and particularly when it's talking to somebody who is sort of like, they are going to die pretty soon. I just thought that was fantastic. So that for me was like the standout moment from episode 1.
Yeah, no, definitely. For me, it was exactly the same. Like, I think I even had to get tissues at that point because it was just such an impactful speech. Like, it was really, really impactful. How about you, Emma? How did you find the opening scenes?
I thought it was brilliant, actually. I thought the red in the bath, when I automatically, my mind went to blood straight away, and it was hair dye. And, you know, it was emotional. I was sobbing. I didn't do that with the book. The book didn't drag any emotion out of me like that. I was just going for the ride. But then I'm sitting here and I'm not an overly, well, I am a sensitive soul, you know, all of us are, but I'm not an overly emotional person. I'm just saying, oh yeah, cold as ice, whatever. But I was like, oh no, every single part, like, she can't go to uni, she's coughing up blood. They've told her dad, you know, she's terminal. I'm like going, oh my God, I can't. I was just booing my eyes out. And the speech as well, like when that speech also, it absolutely resonated me, because for about 10 years I've been saying it's not a battle, because you're implying that somebody can win against it and that you're a loser if you don't. Absolutely not. I know people who are suffering need to feel like they're fighting that demon, and I get that completely. But it is, no one's a loser in that. You can't win against it. It either takes you or it doesn't. And that's just the way it is. So I loved that speech. And because obviously it was Nancy giving the speech, older Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street. I was just like, yeah! I'm so excited to see it, because I didn't even look up who was in it. So yeah, it was a surprise for me.
How about you, Nerissa? What did you think of the opening scenes? It was quite emotional for you, or?
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. Honestly, knowing Mike Flanagan stuff, I didn't really have doubt that it would be that way, because he knows that, well, you won't have the fear and the dread if you don't care about the character. And yeah, it was powerful, and just I wasn't expecting to get emotional in the first episode, but that early as well. But I did, and just little things, just like just Sacramento, California. It's just like, if you've read Pike's stuff, you know where he sets things. The title card. I know we didn't have that font in the UK, but he does a brilliant job of just bringing the character, so you know, without it being, you never get bumped over the head with like exposition and stuff. It's just natural, and I just thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it was definitely really well done, and that speech got me. That was the point. I was like, that was really gorgeous.
I thought.
So talking about the iconic cover, which unfortunately I haven't got a copy of, but the American cover where they're all like around the table with the fireplace.
Oh yeah.
So what did you think of when we first got a glimpse of that in the actual episodes, when you first see that iconic kind of look? Did it give you goosebumps, or was it as you expected? What do you think, Nerissa?
Oh, sorry, I was replying to April. Sorry, what?
Oh no, it's right. I was just saying, when you first saw the iconic like fireplace and table, like that kind of setup with the characters around it, did it give you like goosebumps, or like?
Yeah, I was just like, yes, and it was just so done with love. I was like, I already knew once it was announced. I looked it up and saw that Flanagan was a lifelong Pike fan, and I was just like, yes, this isn't just someone who's like, oh well, the 90s are kind of trendy again. This is something he's been pursuing for a long time and just made with love, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm such a huge Flanagan fan. Trouble with me.
That's right. I am now too.
How about you, Josh? Did we all know that kind of cover, even though it wasn't released over here? What did you think when you first saw like that scene? Did it give you goosebumps?
Great. Yeah, total goosebumps. And you want to sit at the table with them. You know, you're being completely drawn into that environment. I think they did it very cleverly in the way that Alenka kind of has these flashes of things, which I think it kind of like helped the show buy time before the horror stuff happens, because it's very much about the characters, and I think there's always a risk that you're going to alienate the hardcore horror fans if you don't give them something a bit flashy and gory and mysterious straight off the bat.
I think that sorry.
No, okay.
So no, I was going to say that also sort of tied in, and like when she first meets Kevin, she's like, oh, if we met before that time. I know they didn't incorporate that aspect of her stories from the novel, but it tied into that. Yeah. That forever in time intersecting. I don't really know how to say it without spoiling it, but you know what I mean. Like, it played reincarnation. Like,
soulmates forever.
Yeah. How about you, Emma? When you first saw that scene with the fireplace, what were your thoughts? Did it give you goosebumps, or?
Yeah, I love a fireplace anyway, so I love everyone around the fireplace. Great. I also liked the hooded figure, the Josh, that with the Josh. And it seemed to be the Josh with the smoke coming out of his hood with like hands coming for you. And I like the fireside where the shadows come out. Like, it's all been really well thought out, like the atmosphere of it as well. The shadows were coming out of the fire, like hands coming out of, you know, and I did. It gave me chills. I absolutely agree that it did too for me.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's like April's just said, you can tell Mike is a lifelong Pike fan, lots of Easter eggs. So I think I only picked up on one. Well, no, I did pick up on some Easter eggs. One major one I think I picked up on, where, is it Pike's wife that gets a mention? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that. My big one was, I think it was episode 2 or 3, when one of the girls starts, she's reading to one of the girls that's in the recovery room and says, Teresa never normally picked up hitchhikers. I was like, yes, road to nowhere.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not getting any of these.
Out of curiosity, sorry, Josh, when did you start reading? Oh, sorry.
Is there a bit when someone says to Alenka, you're like a real monster? And that's like a title of a Pike book, obviously. So it's like little drips and drabs.
So little drips.
Oh, that's cool.
I was just, sorry.
What were you going to say, Nerissa?
No, I was just going to ask Josh when he started reading Pike, because obviously Emma's a bit more recent. I started like when I was like 11 or 12.
Yeah. Oh, I must have been 14, I think, 13, 14. So to me, it just felt so grown up. It was like my transition from like point horror through Christopher Pike into Stephen King, which I think is probably most people's trajectory. So I was obsessed with them, and I think there's a picture of my teenage bedroom, and you can see my Christopher Pike books on the shelf with all the point horrors. And
that's cute.
This is my original copy of Witch that I had as a teenager. So
look at
yeah.
See, I don't know how that passed me by. I mean, I read Pike for point horror, obviously in the point horrors, but I never picked up any of his novels. I don't know how it.
I'm the same as you, Emma. I was like more. I was probably
how did I miss it?
Older. I was more point horror and then straight to Stephen King kind of thing.
Yes, that's what I did.
See, I was right at the tail end because I was 13 in 99. So it was I was right at the tail end. I think I just got them before they.
So you're younger than us. So that'll be the reason.
Yeah, but I think I got in there and read as many as I could. But yeah, so I think I was definitely on the tail end because I think at the time the most recent one that I'd read was Execution of Innocence, which I think was 97. And I don't think he wrote that much more after that.
Yeah.
It was probably exhausting.
So I just snuck in there.
3 books a year.
Exhausted, yeah.
Eddie May's put the fireplace and the whole room looks so creepy and cozy. So I need a room like that. Yes, I would love a room like that. Stephen from Creek Talk podcast. I thought the whole series was good and perfectly nostalgic, so I presume Stephen's watched all of it. So I think me, Josh and Emma have only watched the first 3. Nerissa's watched all of them.
Sorry, I just wanted
I couldn't trust my mouth.
Overlook Hotel receptionist, sorry, I don't know your name, but like someone saw you reading The Party, which, Final Friends is my absolute fave. Why are you reading a book about fish?
Why did they link The Party to fish? Did it have
there wasn't a fish on the cover, was there?
No, I mean, there was a pool and some chlorine thrown in someone's eyes, but there was no fish.
It was piranha.
Sorry, I'll try and shut up now. I'm just
Philip,
I'm waiting so many years for this. It's too exciting.
I'd love to know what Philip's response was to the person who asked if it was about a fish. So please do tell us, Philip, because that is just so random. So Philip.
I'm not sure how this is giving you fish.
Was it an American cover though? Did they have fish on it? A fish bowl? I don't know. It's not a party without a fish bowl.
Philip's also put he's saving them for when he comes back from holiday. So just be careful because there might be spoilers in the chat. Just to warn you in advance. So in the opening episode, I was terrified because apparently this episode won some type of Guinness World Record for having a significant amount of jump scares in one episode, which made me jump because we had the sound on quite loud. So I was jumping. But did they get you? Did they make you jump? Did you know they were coming? Were any surprises in those jump scares, Josh?
I was laughing my head off. I thought it was brilliant. It was so funny.
I wasn't laughing. I was like,
I don't know. Jump scares. It's very rare that I jump now at a film. But yeah, I just thought it was really cleverly done. Teach me your ways,
Josh. Teach me your ways.
I know. I thought it was great because
it's taking music cues, Shelley. Music cues.
But I tried that later on. There was I don't know what episode it was in, maybe episode 2, when a hooded figure standing behind her, and I thought, right, music cue is telling me there's a jump scare, so I was all prepared, and then it didn't do anything, and then it gave the jump scare after, so then I still
yeah, it did. It was like bang, bang, bang. You're like ah!
Honestly, I should have filmed myself. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun though. I thought because at the end of the day it's teenagers telling ghost stories to each other, and I thought that felt very like if you're at a sleepover like the kind of thing I liked it. But I also liked the bit about the music, like the person hearing the music. It felt very it felt Pike-like.
Yeah.
I think it was done well. Yeah. It was fun.
Did you jump, Emma? Please tell me you jumped.
I did. I was like, because I wasn't expecting it because the book didn't have that in it. So I was like, what the hell? Ah, what's that? Oh my God. It's just like it was coming from all sides. It just didn't stop. And I was like, my heart was pounding. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm watching this alone as well because my husband's away. I'm like going, geez. And I thought, luckily you were on hand because you sent me a message. Were there jump scares in the book? I can't remember. I was like, no. So yeah, it did. It did. I got caught as well, Shelley. I got completely caught out.
Yeah. We had the sound a little bit too loud. So that one that I thought
blame
was
the
going to
sound.
happen.
Blame the sound.
And like Toy Nuki, I think it is. It's always said normally the music gives jump scares away. Yes, I agree, but not in my head. I'm still like,
Flanagan can be sneaky.
Can be sneaky, but yeah, definitely they still get me even with the music. So a lot of people,
I'm sorry, I was laughing earlier. Did you read that comment?
Yeah, a lot of people were saying maybe it was the Pike with the story that Philip told.
Can't believe
so
I didn't think that.
Has confirmed that so he was a proper beep and used to pick on me. Boo, no, that's not good. The big red Christopher was covered by my hand and it was just said Pike. So
sorry, I was laughing at what Stephen said.
The funny thing is,
Pike
becoming my best mate. What Stephen put. I felt like the actress playing Alonka came from the Jennifer Love Hewitt School of Acting.
What? That she's a really good actor.
I thought she was great. Yeah,
Stephen.
Oh, okay.
I love a bit of love. What are you talking about, Stephen? Come for love.
And anyways, but Shelley, yes, I wasn't prepared for the scares in episode 1. I literally cussed out loud, then giggled. Mind you, I was alone in my bed watching. Ooh.
Me too.
See, I watched it in broad daylight, so that maybe made a difference. Drop the kid off at school. It's bike time.
Oh, dear. So, did anyone have any other favourite scenes, or what did you think of the episode overall, Josh? Did you like the
I've got such a bad memory. This is the problem with watching 3 episodes back to back. They all start to blur together. I think the one thing that was really cleverly done was when Alenka sees the hourglass symbol and she kind of notices it, but then you sort of forget where it was, and it's really clever the way the next 2 episodes you're like, yeah, what the hell was that freaking symbol?
Yes,
really well done.
That was clever. Yeah.
I just thought it was a great opening episode. It was really intriguing, really atmospheric. Loved the setup, really unique. And I thought all of the actors in it were just fantastic, like top drawer. Really interesting.
And Stephen's just no, she was good, just very Jennifer Love Hewitt. How about you, Emma? First episode, what were your thoughts overall? Did you enjoy the first episode? Good setup.
I did. I thought they smashed it out of the ballpark. I thought, it's not what I wasn't sure what I was expecting. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. And so I was really impressed with the acting. I was impressed with the whole thing, the whole piece. It felt really well polished and well thought out. I liked it.
Oh, and one other thing, if you don't mind.
I
thought that they were very clever in choosing which songs to play sort of throughout the first 3 episodes. I think the songs they chose made me nostalgic, but they weren't sort of like big needle drops. I thought they were very subtle and very effective.
I will say
I had to think about the year.
The end credits of episode 1 is very hard to hear that song now and not think Peep Show though.
That's what my boyfriend said as well. He was like, oh, Peep Show.
That's so true.
Well, I was trying to think like that was a big part of disturbing behaviour back in 90.
Yeah.
Oh God, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, it's trash, but it's great.
You like
That
trash.
and then watch Gossip. Oh yeah.
So, moving on to episode 2, which is the 2 Danas. Summary is Anya brings bitterness. Sorry.
Okay.
Anya brings bitterness to a tense group therapy session, and Alonka meets a healer on the grounds, and a deep cut sends a shaken Spencer to the infirmary. So just touching on the new characters then, so we kind of meet a couple of new characters like Tristan, who's obviously in isolation, and also is it Shanta, I think.
Yeah.
Shasta, I think.
Yeah,
Shasta?
who Alonka meets in the woods. So I was quite intrigued by these characters, and I wasn't sure if they were in the actual Midnight Club book. I couldn't remember. But I'm interested to see how they play out. What do you think, Josh? I was a bit surprised that all of a sudden there was a couple of new characters we hadn't seen in the first episode.
Yeah. So my theory at the moment is that the Julia from the past is actually going to be Julia from Witch, who is Julia Florence, but they might be playing around with that. Because it's very suspicious.
Oh my God,
she's red-headed, and the woman in the woods is also red-headed. She's clearly got a witchy vibe, and Julia in the witch is a witch. So yeah, I loved her character. I thought she was great, and it was just sort of you liked her. You know, she was one of those really interesting characters. You loved her immediately. But it's like, okay, so what is she actually doing in this situation? Kind of thing.
What's she up to?
Yeah. I thought the second episode did such a great job of building up Anya, because in the first episode she borders on being actually intolerable because she's just so bitter and so angry, or seemingly so anyway. And I think episode 2 does a really good job of making you care for her, even though it doesn't soften any of her edges. You know, it just gives you some insight into her really effectively, and actually she became pretty much my favorite in that episode.
Yeah,
I think she was one of such an interesting character in the book as well. I think they did a great job.
Yeah,
bringing that to the screen.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay. I've not read Witch, so that'll be an interesting one for me.
One of my favourites.
I know it's your favourite, isn't it, Josh? And how about you, Emma? When you saw this new character, was you intrigued? Did you make any connections or anything like that? I didn't. I was just
no, I was like, I was oblivious. I was just like, oh, who's this now? So yeah, I didn't even think that they weren't part of the book or part of the world in any way, because I just accepted them. Like, here's somebody new, okay, that's fine. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like they were trying to push something into the story that wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, normally you'd be like, oh, this person who's decided to come and write the script has decided they're going to do it their way, and they're going to push all their stuff into it, and, you know, to hell with the source material. But no, this is actually, as you've said, a real Pike fan, and this person has clearly thought about how to bring these characters in and do it in such a way that a newbie like me will not notice, will just accept it, and more like Josh and Nerissa will look at it and go, and have a fan theory about it, which is clever. It's very clever.
Very, very clever. Yeah. Nerissa, I saw you covering your mouth, so I'm probably better to do the question.
Don't tell us, Nerissa.
Spoiler. I thought they did such a great job, because in the novel it's just Spencer, Kevin, Alonka, Anya, and Sandra. That's it.
Yeah. Sandra, yeah.
Sandra. But I thought the additional characters, I thought they did them so well. It felt natural. It didn't feel like, oh, what are you doing? And Shasta, in particular, the woman she meets in the woods.
Yeah.
she felt like a Pike character. If you've read his other stuff, I was just like, yeah. But I did feel a bit like, and this is biased because of like her role, the actress's role in Midnight Mass. It was sort of like, well, it's hard not to see her as dodgy.
Oh yeah,
she's a villain in Midnight Mass. But I thought they did such a good job, because when it was announced that there was going to be additional characters, I was a bit like, ooh. But yeah, they felt so natural and like Pike characters. They felt in place, and just additional characters. Like I felt the nurse Mark, the Zach Gilford character. I thought he was really great as well.
Yeah,
a little bit where I think I mentioned to you earlier, Shelley, I think one of my favourite bits from the book was the relationship between Anya and Spencer, and I think they brought that to the screen really well.
Yeah.
The little scene where Spencer gets cut and he goes to see the nurse, and they're talking and like the nurse is talking to him about Interview with the Vampire and how he needs to see this film, and it was just
because of
little things like that, just really little human moments, and I thought it was done so well.
Yeah, and I like how that scene that you're talking about as well was like layered. So obviously they were talking about the AIDS and things like that, and I like how they layered that. They got like an important message across, but like layered like a bit of underlying humour about the Interview with the Vampire, and I just thought it was a genius scene. I was like, actually made me a bit emotional to watch that scene. I just thought it was just
and that was such a big thing when we were kids as well, wasn't it? I remember it as a child, and you'd be running around we didn't understand, and you'd be running around the playground going, you've got AIDS, you know, like that. We had no idea exactly what it was, and then when you grow up and you look back at it, you go, oh my goodness, you know, I had no idea as a child. We were just like, you know, and then and people and as a kid we were talking about, oh, you mustn't go near anybody because you know, if their blood gets on you, then you've got it, like almost like zombie apocalypse. It was painted as, and it's so ridiculous. And I thought, when they said it doesn't matter to us because they're all dying anyway, you know, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you know.
I loved when Alonka was so defensive of him because they had such a powerful, like I said in the book, their friendship was such a huge part of it for me. I think the actors were great. I thought Spence was great. I think they did a really great job.
Was Spence your favourite character, Nerissa? Or is it too hard to pick? Or is that a trick question?
It's too hard to pick. I could say in the book, I think, like, I loved the friendship between him and Anya, and I think just the way they've brought them all to the screen is great. Like I mentioned to you earlier, the guy who played Kevin is great. That feels like the character's just been plonked from the page onto the screen. I think he did a fabulous job.
Yeah, phenomenal job. Yeah, definitely. How about you, Josh? Did you have a favourite character?
Oh, it's completely Anya. Yeah,
Anya.
I knew it.
I think she was my favourite in the book. I think,
yeah. But her face, she's got this fascinating face. There's she's got a bit of like a Samantha Morton vibe going on. And she's just, you can't stop staring at her. She's just endlessly fascinating, and I want to see how she's going to react to everything. She's always got some kind of funny one-liner that is it funny or is it actually really quite mean? You know, I want more.
Or sad.
Yeah, or sad, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's also understandable. These are young kids, and they're just in this horrible
situation.
So, and I think it's, you know, in some shows and stuff, you'll have the angry teen and stuff. I don't know. Here it felt so grounded and just you understand why. Sandra with her Christianity, and like it was also. I think it's been really well done.
Yeah, definitely. There was a one-liner that Anya said. Well, there was quite a few that made me laugh, but the one that I remembered the most was when Alonka wakes up from the nightmare, and and Anya goes, "If you were an alarm clock, I'd hit snooze." And I thought that. I loved it.
I just there were like so many fun little moments. Like there's a point where Alonka, after meeting Shasta in the woods, she picks the chamomile and makes it into tea, and like Anya's like, yeah, fine, I'll try it, but then you just like casually just like spitting it back in like no.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think Anya's my favourite. What about you, Emma? Who's your favourite?
Well, see, in the book, my favourites were the boys, Spence and Kevin. Like, I like them best. And I think it might be a sign of the time it was written, I don't know. But now, when I'm watching it on screen, Alanka and Anya are probably my favourites. Yeah, so it's changed to the two girls, and that's interesting to me that from page to screen, it's made me flip like that. So, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Spence, I think, because I don't know what they're going to do. So we'll see how it pans out.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that storyline.
I like his stories best. His stories were great. Everyone got shot up and this, that, and the other. You know, blow them up, and they're like, "Oh, Spence, for God's sake."
So talking about Anya then, so she tells the story of the two Danas, which is from the Midnight Club book, which was, I think, my favourite story in the Midnight book.
Me too, I think, yeah.
And I personally think they portrayed that story so well. They actually played one of my favourite songs over the top of it, which is Glycerine by Bush. Like, I squealed when that song came on. It was just perfection. But what did you think? Do you think they did a good portrayal of the two Dana story, Josh?
Oh yeah, I thought it was just fantastic. You know, it's such I loved watching Heather Langenkamp have such a ball playing the devil. You know, she comes out with the glowing eyes, so creepy. Yeah. That great tattoo of the snake on her arm. And she's just obviously having so much fun. So she was great. And I just thought the actress who played two Danas, you know, Anya, she just got to sort of like spread her wings and just go wild. It was so good. The only thing that made me a bit uncomfortable was like the self-harming stuff, because that was really quite grisly. But I think maybe that's what the genius of this show is that it does kind of tread that line between very real, serious, you know, horror of human existence with, you know, playful horror hijinks. So, you know, I think it kind of works. And I
think they did tread that line well, because I have seen that done much more graphically, but also I've seen it done much more carelessly.
I
think they. I think they tried it well. It's such a tricky thing, and I think they did it well, because you definitely like.
You feel
you're not like, this is a casual, you know.
This is like a last resort.
So there's a story directly from the Midnight Club, but what do you like it, Nerissa? Did they do a good portrayal of it?
Well, the 2 days, absolutely. I thought it was. Sorry, excuse me. I thought it was like it was just pulled from the book onto screen, and I thought they did a fabulous job. And when the devil or whomever comes out of the cupboard, and that thing of like the dark figure and the glowing eyes, that's something Flanagan's done a few times, but it works so well. And I said to you earlier, when we spoke earlier, when she approaches the mirror, part of me thought the typical thing would be for the other Dana to step out of the mirror. But I love that it just went practical, just the creepiness. It was so creepy, just from behind the mirror. From behind it. I was just...
It was really...
Like she was always hiding there!
I loved it. I'm pretty sure some of the lines were straight from the book.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Emma? Did you like the portrayal of that story?
I loved that. That was one of my favourite parts. I could relate to that girl I could relate to that as a teenager. I had a wild side, and I was a dancer. So I had that side where I was dancing 5 days a week, and you had to be the best. And I wasn't allowed to do points because my dance teacher's feet were mangled. So when she took her shoes off, the ballet slippers off, and she had the mangled toes, I was like, this is why I was not allowed to do this. But I did push myself quite a bit, and I had sprained ankles, sprained wrists. I've got a busted knee anyway. But yeah, dancing busts you up. Don't do it. It's nice for the dance kids. Yeah, but I thought it was, and I know that Shelley's favourite part is probably couch, isn't it, Shelley? I want to hear from you on that, because I laughed so hard.
I was just going to say, I hope from experience that didn't happen to you, Emma.
No. That definitely didn't happen on my couch with my parents there.
But honestly, the actress did such a good job in that scene, because I was like, how are they going to do this? Like, 'cause I knew it was going to come. I knew it was going to come. But anyway, moving on.
Oh my God, I laughed so much.
But I think was that the only story they actually took from their stories? I think. I think it was the best one.
Yeah.
A lot of people liking your witch theory, because obviously Nerissa's gone. Obviously, I've only seen the first 3. You were right there.
Terrible twins doing something to her. We're checking Nerissa. Where is she, Nerissa? You know.
Someone's tickling you. Nerissa.
Oh dear. We knew it was going to happen. We knew. A lot of people saying they love the actress who
Eddie.
And then I got behind on the comments. Well, this chat just got real interesting. The 2 Emmas. Yeah, the 2 Emmas, Stephen said. And I saw April put something and I've lost it. Oh yeah, also when Alonka tells Anya, so you're maybe on the piss. April said she lolled.
Oh yes.
And
the look
Stephen's
of respect she gets for that is brilliant.
Yeah. Stephen's put, I love the cast. Heather Langenkamp in the show, it was amazing. And Karen's put, I legit fast forwarded the self-harm part, ankle breaking, as it was a bit screamy.
Hey, no, wasn't the devil like a
statue?
Sorry, guys, wasn't the devil a bloke though in the original?
Possible.
Was like a James Dean or something.
Yeah. So I quite like the
sorry,
change on that. I thought
I quite like the change. Yeah. Sorry, Shelley, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the changes they did were great. Bro, sorry.
Everyone's laughing at our smuttiness. It always goes. And Josh is just like, oh no, not again.
Your smuttiness, Shelley.
Yes, you, Shelley, not me at all.
Well, half me. So moving on to episode 3 then, so The Wicked Heart. So obviously I was really excited for this because I've actually read The Wicked Heart and I was I wonder how they're going to do it, especially with, I can't say it on the chat, but especially with a certain
I thought they would definitely, I thought straight off they're going to have to not do that.
So, say it on the chat.
Oh, now I want to know what that is.
I'll message you after, but it's a different.
We'll get booted off if we say it here.
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh goody! Message me later.
So what I liked about episode 3, so episode 3 is a family day at Brightcliffe, and it brings news from home, but not for everyone, and a series of strange clues leads Alonka down a path of startling discoveries. So with the family day, we kind of get an insight into the characters and family situations. So was there anyone's family situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what was the situation that stood out to you? And what As we said, the characterisation is just, it's absolutely phenomenal. I just loved it. But did anyone stand out to you? Emma?
Yeah, my lovely Spence, because he couldn't go home because he didn't want him there. Because obviously they you know, they were churchy people and had all these issues with him, and he was like, oh, I could come with you, like, Dad, please, you know, take me home.
Yeah.
You know, we could have a day out, and he was like, no, I can't, and I was just like, oh God, I'm gonna cry again, you know. I was just like, oh no. So that struck a chord with me.
I think it's so. I mean, I'm younger than you guys, so I was quite young during all of that time, but it becomes so easy, and it feels awful to say that it becomes easy to forget what things were like at that time. But yeah, I thought it was really well done, especially there'll be like whole generations now that don't know what it was like then. And I thought it was.
Well, they'll ask now. They'll ask what's going on with that. You know, the teenagers watching it.
How about you, Josh? Was there any particular family or family scene that kind of got you, or you thought, oh, that's interesting?
Yeah, I agree the Spence stuff was great, but for me it was Kevin's family situation was really interesting.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just sort of like so sad the way his mum wants to sort of like mythologize him and like turn him into like achievements that maybe he hasn't been able to achieve, that his younger brother can do instead. And it's almost like you're
maybe a little sense of denial, like that maybe he'll
massively.
Be
massive denial, and she's wasting all this time that she could have spent with her son meaningfully by actually forcing things on him that he doesn't want or need. And I loved the way he says, who is this Kevin guy? Because she's just created this completely imaginary version of her son. And I think
sorry,
go on, Hitch. I think the show is doing a really clever job of tying that stuff into the stories that are being told. You know, how the mum in the story is comatose and sort of a bit of, you know, she's not comatose, but she's not really engaged in her son's life or any life. And that's like it kind of adds something to your understanding of Kevin, the fact that he's telling this story. It's just so cleverly done. You know, I think the idea of like Emma's response to the book was, oh, it's just a bunch of short stories, and I think that could easily have become what the show was, just a bunch of short stories that had no real weight to them. And I think they're finding such interesting ways to bring weight to these stories.
I think they've done they do it really well, that there's more you can take from it, but if you don't quite get it, it's okay. But like when he says to his brother, oh, she's hitting the coffee hard, and you're like, oh, okay, she's a drinker, she's got a problem. But like if you miss it, then like if you don't take that from it, you don't miss it. It doesn't take anything away, but if you get it, you're like, oh, okay.
Definitely.
Just giving you those layers without it being, here's a bunch of exposition and here I'm going to bang you over the head with this information.
Not thrown in your face kind of thing. It's like subtle things, and that's pretty genius, really, isn't it? That's kind of what you want. Cameron's put, I love that, oh, your sister is so much prettier than you are, line followed by a slow
oh, that was cringe, wasn't it?
Dear. I was like, no, no.
Oh, stop, don't back away.
And
bless her.
Eddie May's put Spence with a broken heart, and Kevin trying to tell his brother to live his own life, basically not his legacy. It's just heartbreaking, really. Oh,
and what about, who was in the room on her own, the girl who they say always lies? I can't remember her name. What was her name?
Cherie.
Cherie,
Cherie. Cherie. And I just thought, does she make all that up, or is it true? I don't know.
I think some of it seems to be true, and I think
It's like if
She
there was
maybe
one dog
exaggerates
biting her ass,
because
she'd
she's
say there was
been,
5. Like that kind of thing.
she's been sort of left, and I think maybe the impression I got is that she exaggerates because it makes her feel a little bit better that she's just sort of been abandoned.
She has. And it doesn't matter how much toys or gifts or whatever they send her, she just wants a family around her and they just won't come, and it's so distressing.
I did love Nurse Mark. Was it like, ooh, I'll have, the soaps.
I like the
soap.
It smells lovely.
Yeah, with the soaps. Oh, that was funny. Did anyone was that the standout moment for you, Nerissa, Kevin, like in that family situation, or was there anyone else who stood out to you?
I think all of it, really. It's hard to just...
It's hard. No,
just, I think it was just so well done of giving you insight into everyone. Like, I've forgotten her name, the girl. She's played by the girl from Babysitter's Club with her father. Must have died. And it seems like, I'm guessing...
Natsuki, I don't know whether I'm saying that right, but yeah, I know what you mean.
And just, it was done so well, and sort of like realising like, oh, that must have been the first Gulf War time-wise.
Yes,
Yeah.
With the dad,
Those whole family scene was very cleverly done and just gave you a different insight into their lives, and I just thought it was really brilliant.
Yeah, and just like Alonka, not Alonka, sorry, Anya not wanting to go down, but Alonka involving her.
Yeah.
Come along, you're coming, come on. And I thought,
Yeah, and then so the other big thing of episode 3 was obviously the portrayal of the Wicked Heart. So how did they do? Like, I know, I'm not sure. Have you read this one, Josh?
It was one that I read as a teenager and haven't gone back to, but I still remember how traumatized I was by it because it's so dark.
So do you think they did?
I think if I'd read it as a teenager, I would have been like, woo!
Do you think they did a good portrayal of the Wicked Heart?
I thought it was fantastic.
The bit that we saw,
so well done.
I was gripped to the TV. I
could not. Wasn't it?
Little separate show. Yeah.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I could not take my eyes away from the screen for
and I kept waiting when he was about to bash that poor girl's head in. I kept waiting for them to cut to the story room and for everyone to go, oh my God, you can't do that. But they just showed us everything and let us.
It was so well done, and just like the details from the book that were there, like the white towel, the 2 heavy duty things, like just it was done so well, because that's the thing, like, sometimes Pike was daft and sometimes it was existential and sometimes it was really fucking dark, and I think I thought this section was like one of the best, like through the whole the whole 10 episodes. It was it was like, no, I'm not gonna say that. But it was like it almost feels like that could stand on its own. The Wicked Heart section. It was, I thought, like, fantastic, and the actor going from playing Kevin to this, was fantastic.
Yes.
I thought he did such a great job of like the voices, its head, and
it was so clever because
standing around him.
At the very end, when she gets left in the basement, you're like, did he do that on purpose? Because we've just seen him being serial killer. It makes you it plays around with your conception of all the characters.
Yeah.
Did he press the button? Yeah. I wondered that.
I never thought about that.
Because they put elements of themselves into their stories, and it's
that was frightening.
Reading Wicked Heart now, about halfway done, but Book Sheila is getting on my nerves. What did you think, Emma? Did you like did you like the short story that they portrayed in there, the Wicked?
Yeah, because
did you read
it was totally new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was totally new to me. Although I had just, when I hit the Midnight Club, I had just finished watching the Jeffrey Dahmer one, and then I was like, oh, another person. No. I was just like, oh no. But it was creepy. It was done really well, and the people standing around him that he'd obviously killed were the ones silent screaming at him. Is that right? Is that from the book?
And he's like,
So I was just like, wow, this really sweet, because Kevin in the book is sweet and lovely, and his story in the book is sweet and lovely. It's bittersweet, but it is.
Yeah.
It's a romance. And then I was like, where is this coming from, Kevin? My gosh, And so, I was surprised to see it. So it was good. I liked it.
No, definitely. And Karen's put, I'm so glad we're getting this show now and not when I was a kid. They wouldn't have been able to go so dark when I was a kid. It would have been sugar-coated with eerie music and cuts to darkness. So that's true.
That was something about reading Pike as a kid. It was sort of like, he didn't shy away. I was like, some of it was totally daft and stuff. But, yes, kids do drink and have sex, and there are dark things that happen. It wasn't like a point horror thing where it's like
like a mop coming out.
A moving curtain.
Talk me about mop,
in the wind, a curtain in the wind.
Like, who is that? Oh, it's just my friend.
It's just
What was the headlight one? Who was that? Who did that one? Oh, was it Fit? No, that was Stein, wasn't it? With two eyes, and it was headlamps for a car. And I'm like, you can't do that. What is it, rat? Your eyes aren't like this.
Mike is more definitely more gritty and definitely.
People died for real.
Yeah,
he went proper pulpy. Let's go for it.
They just rolled down a hill and then they're found at the bottom later. That doesn't happen.
The stakes were definitely higher in Pike.
Oh.
So what time is it? Oh yeah. So what I know it's a bit different for Nerissa to ask this question, but I'll reword it to Nerissa a little bit. But what are you excited for in the next few episodes? So Josh, what are you excited to see? So we've only seen episodes 1 to 3 so far. And sadly Josh can't make it with us next week. So I know one episode super excited to see. So
I want to see this one so bad. Very excited for which, and I'm just excited to see how the Wicked Heart story ends next week, next episode. And just sort of how loyal are they going to be to Pike's Midnight Club, and how different are they going to go? Because there hasn't been a hint yet of the more sort of spirit. I mean, there's been spiritualistic stuff, but not to the degree that Pike did in Midnight Club. So I'll be interested to see how it plays out.
Definitely. I'm excited for Witch just because I haven't read that book, and I know it's your favourite, Joshua. I'm like, well, it's going to be good because I know it's your favourite.
It's dated. So. It's definitely dated, but I just love the way he writes about her witchy powers. I think he does it really cleverly.
Okay. Interesting. How about you, Emma? What are you excited to see, or where do you think the story's going to go?
Well, I would like to see the sweet relationship unfolding between the two lovebirds, the soulmates forever, Alanka and Kevin, because me and my husband met at 16 and we started dating at 17, got engaged at 18, we got married at 21, and we had our first child at 25. So we were like sweethearts. I wasn't at his high school, but high school sweethearts, if you like. He was still at school when I met him. And I liked the idea of soulmates because I went to somebody who, really creepy story for another time, but somebody who read my cards, and she had a spirit guide on her shoulder, and he was always annoying her. And I said, something about me and my husband. And I said, I thought we were soulmates. And she said, not in this life, my dear, but definitely complete soulmates in the next. Almost. And I was like, when I read this in the book, I was like, oh, that's me and my husband. We're almost soulmates, but not quite. In the next life, we will be. So I love that. I want to see that. Yeah, I want to see the reincarnation, that they're coming together again and that they'll always find each other. So I hope that plays out.
Yeah, and funny enough, me and Eddie May were chatting in the DMs, and Eddie May was saying to me like how much thinking of people who have maybe passed on, that you'll still meet like in this life and things like that, and it really does make you think. Like it really makes you
it's
think.
Like the end of Gladiator when he's like, "I'll see you soon, but not yet." Oh my God, tears.
Yeah. It's a really nice thought to have, and something that maybe I didn't appreciate when I read The Midnight Club enough. I didn't appreciate that enough, but now I've talked to people, I can see that more, if that makes sense. I can just appreciate it a little bit more, and I'm like, yeah, actually the theme underneath it was really touching and really good. But yeah, I'm a big believer in fate, and like things are meant to be. And I'm like you, Emma, like I've known my husband since I was 4 years old. So yeah. So
wow.
Yeah. So it's.
But I can tell with you and Kev when I met you, I was like, oh look, another pair of soulmates.
That's it's meant to be, isn't it? And like you cross paths over the years, and then all of a sudden it like the stars align, and then you kind of just go for it then. But, yeah.
What's up with us?
No, you have to put it out. And what I wanted to ask you, Nerissa, because obviously I know you've seen the rest, but what I know you were really excited for Give Me a Kiss. I think that's your favourite, isn't it? Is that your favourite Pike?
Other than Final Friends, yeah.
Yeah. So what I want to know, without spoilers, like, did they do a good portrayal of Give Me a Kiss in Nerissa's
I was so nervous because I love it so much, but I think the way they did it was probably the best and probably the only way to do it, because it's teeny, it's like barely over 100 pages, and I think they just embraced its pulpy nonsense and just went with it, just rolled with it. And I think I was almost clapping. I thought it was I was so worried, and yeah, I loved it. I thought, that was probably the best and only way to do it.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so it gets the Nerissa stamp of approval, so now I'm really excited to watch episode 4. Woohoo! My final question is, I think we briefly touched on it, but if you could only read one Pike book forever, that was the only one in existence, what would it be, and what would you recommend people to read? Josh, I know what you're going to say. Yeah. Oh no, I thought you were going to say Witch.
I do love Witch, but this one is really good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure if I've read
I don't
that.
think this one's even being adapted in the series. I wonder if it's going to have its own.
He didn't give them the rights to that because he wants that to be its own thing.
Oh, that's good.
I was discussing this with Shelley this morning.
Yeah.
That's
yes, I remember that you're saying. Yeah. How about you, Nerissa? Like, you could have one book or one adaptation that you'd want to see.
Okay, right. Adaptation or one I'd recommend to someone would be The Hollow Skull, because that one it's amazing. It's a later one, but it's amazing and it's genuinely scary. But if it's like only one that I can read for the rest of my life, does it can we bung Final Friends? It's like, I know it's 3, but can we class it as 1?
You can buy the omnibus.
It'll be Final Friends. Because I've read it like 4 or 5 times. I love it.
And Emma, is there any like other Pike books that have caught your eye, or have you got lots of recommendations from the chat?
I think I'm going to go for the one that Josh and Dustin have recommended, Remember Me, because you know they've both said that's for me, so it is for me. So I'm gonna grab that.
I can't wait to hear what you think.
Just don't read the sequels, just read the first one.
I tried 3 times to read the second one and I couldn't get through, even as a kid, and I just gave up. I was like, you know what, like even as a 13-year-old I was like, nope, done.
Yeah.
I just left it. I was like, right, it's a one series, but it's a one book series. Good, well done to anyone who got through the other two.
Hes 1980s put Chain Letter. Yeah, I quite like Chain Letter. And I like Slumber Party as well.
Oh, that's hilarious. That was insane.
Oh, it's like,
well, apparently it was meant to be actually supernatural, but like the publisher wouldn't go for it.
Interesting when they do that.
I wonder why they wouldn't do that.
It's a really interesting one to read as sort of like
I've had that
early
since
Pike,
before.
for sure.
Like, don't make it actual vampires, Emma, or don't make it actual ghosts. And I'm like, why not?
Yeah, why? We need more.
Why? But that's what my old publisher used to say to me. She used to say, no, Emma, don't do it. Make it just a straight thriller.
No, we say, Emma,
There's plenty of those. We don't need any more of those. Yeah.
Emma made her thriller twisty and crazy anyway, so.
April's put Road to Nowhere. So
oh God, it's such a good one.
Everyone.
That episode is
really good.
Notch.
And Stephen put The Midnight Club always affected me. I'd say that. Yeah, I definitely think like it is in my mind a lot, definitely. And April's put Nerissa, the troll story in it. What's the
I think that's either the second or third Remember Me, from what I know. I didn't get that far because I think I only got a third of the way through the second one before I was like, no, I'm done.
Oh,
Out of here.
And Stephen's put Emma with a little troll. Stephen's put all the
It probably would have been better from what I
I can make a good story with just these two trolls.
Oh God! Oh dear. The trolls have got to make an appearance next week now, Emma. That's like
That's it, they're a permanent picture.
That could be my stand-in.
And Creek Talk, Stephen from Creek Talk podcast said, all the Pike content is making me want to reread them now. It's been so long. And yes, that's what we like to hear. And on that note, we will finish up. So thank you for like chatting to me. I was really interested to hear what you thought about the episodes. And I think for me, episode 3 so far is my favourite. But yeah, thank you. I'm so glad.
Thanks, Shelley. We are the Midnight Club.
We've been here and caused chaos as per usual, but and thank you, Nerissa, for being like our little Pike with Josh, because I was like, oh, I'm not sure I know enough about Pike to go through the chat. I mean, I read some, but not a lot.
You aced it.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, Josh isn't going to be here next week, but we've got 2 other guests joining us. So we've got John and Daniel joining us. We will miss you, Josh.
Oh, thanks. I'll be watching. I'll try to watch.
Oh, thank you. And thanks to everyone who's joined in. Toy Nuki, I don't know whether I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry. Said, thanks, Midnight Club. So I will raise my glass, well, my cup, and say, good night, everyone.
So much fun. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.